Hi there, Jeff Coon here, and welcome to the Science, Strategy, and Software for Success. When we think about the human being, we need to think about two different things. The first is that we are hardwired to survive and to protect ourselves. It's just wired into our DNA. And the second thing we need to remember is that our subconscious plays a bigger role in our decisions than we might think. Going back to that ability to be hardwired to survive, if we take a look at a diagram of the brain here, roughed out, the brain is really made up simplistically of three different parts. When we look at the outer part of the brain, which is what we're most familiar with, that's the rational part of our brain. As we work concentrically down the middle, we're going to see this inner areas where our feelings and emotions come into play. And then the one labeled 1 here in our diagram is really the primitive part of our brain. It's really about our fight and flight and our most physiological needs, about human survival. Now, what we need to do is we need to understand that when we are talking in sales and marketing, we need to be talking to the buying part of the brain. We need to be talking to area 1 and 2. We need to create that trust with someone to let their guard down and say, I'm not going to harm you. Then we need to make an emotional connection, and we need to work in this order. We need to go 1, 2, and then work to the rational side of things. If people don't trust you, they're not going to listen and resonate with your messaging. So we all know that people like to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And if we don't build trust and we don't create some commonality, they're not going to be receptive to your message. Now, we talk about the subconscious and its effect on our behavior and our actions. There was an interesting study done by a research firm. They brought 2 groups into a room, into 2 separate rooms, and the participants were of equal balance of ages. And Group A was primed with words associated with being young, while Group B was primed with words associated with being old. And what they were really testing, unbeknownst to those in the room, was they wanted to see, did being primed with words affect how fast, the pace at which they walked out of the room to a certain point? And it did. Those that were primed with the word associated with aging actually walked slower. So if words can affect the speed at which we walk, it certainly can affect our purchase behaviors. So what do we do with all this information? The strategy, in one word, is video. We've heard Gary Vaynerchuk talk about it in his keynote. We heard about the importance of video, Facebook Live. We know how that's coming onto the scene. We need to use video as a way to create a human connection. We're visual people. Again, our brain is hardwired. We process visuals in the brain 60,000 times faster than text. It's why infographics work. But using video is an effective and efficient way to make a connection and to translate sometimes a complicated process into simple terms. Now, what software can we be using for success? We live in an age where we're lucky that we can get to that one-to-one communication that people are looking for. We have tools like HubSpot that allow us to put forms and conversion pages on our website that allow us to track people's behavior on our website. We know if they did or didn't visit our pricing page, if they looked at our case studies, and we can use that data to bring more context and more relevancy into our messaging. We have tools like Hotjar that allow us to do heat mapping and video recordings. We no longer have to guess what people are doing on their website. We can simply look. We can see that only 27% of the people are getting down to the area where your call to action is. Use that data to either move the call to action up, make some quick iterations to improve. We have talked about the importance of video. Wistia is a great tool as a video hosting platform, and it can integrate with HubSpot so that we can actually see down to the individual level how many people are looking at your video. Did a certain group make it all the way through? Based on that information, you can run marketing automation rules to say, send message sequence 1 to those that watch less than 25% of our video. Send message sequence 2 to those that watch the entire video. It's different information presented to them, and so our messaging should be contextually relevant to what they've seen and not seen. And then as we wrap this up, we all know that what gets measured gets done. There's a tool, DataBox, that allows us to bring all of our different platforms into one dashboard. We can take our Facebook analytics, our YouTube analytics, we can take HubSpot, Wistia, whatever it may be, we can bring it into one mobile dashboard so we can check in on our KPIs on a daily and weekly basis. So in conclusion, you have to start with a great strategy, but we often encourage people strive for progress, not perfection. Put something out in the market and let the data drive your decisions.